Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the penultimate episode of Tyria then for Guild Wars Prophecies. The show is going to continue past prophecies, but this is the second to last episode for this particular campaign. Welcome back, Miko, to Guild Wars.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Guild Wars?
Yeah, I know. We're just calling it Guild Wars. No, welcome back to Tyria then.
Yeah, we're good.
Welcome back to playing Guild Wars.
Yes, I knew what you meant. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Yeah, no, the production schedule has been just today, actually. We're doing everything today because it didn't line up otherwise. We had some struggles doing the content earlier this week. It turns out Ring of Fire is kind of hard.
With henchmen,
yeah. And then Abaddon's Mouth is actually pretty hard, too. These are both pretty hard missions, I think.
I found Abaddon's Mouth a little bit easier going. But I may have been a bit better prepared after Ring of Fire, so that could have been it.
Yeah, Ring of Fire kind of prepares you for all the madness that you're going to face in Abaddon's Mouth. So the two missions we did today, we did do them today, and we're talking about them today as well. Ring of Fire and Abaddon's Mouth. When do those take place, Miko? What's happened in the story so far?
So in the story so far, last episode, we jaunted our way through the southern Shiver Peaks. We freed our friends from the Shining Blade. We avenged our dead friends from the Shining Blade by kicking Marquis's ass. And we got our armor infused along the way. Which is great because we're fighting a lot of Mersat and their Jade buddies. And then we went and helped the dwarves to retake their capital city because they lost it to the Mersat and the not the Deljamore dwarves, the Stone Summit.
Yeah, they lost it to the Stone Summit, and then the Mersat tried to take it over at the same time that we tried to take it over. And the writing of the story isn't very clear on that.
Yeah. So,
you kind of have to play the mission to find out what actually happens.
Yes, and at the end of that mission, which was Thunderhead Keep, Vizier Kilbron, who hadn't really been around until Thunderhead Keep, just is like, well, hey, let's all go to the Ring of Fire here, step through this Mersat teleporter, and we'll take the fight to the Mersat. And then we get this mysterious last final cutscene after we go through, and it's the Lich and a friend of his who has a very glowy, the yellow warrior glow when he's kind of bald and he doesn't talk.
And he's got some brown armor on.
Yeah, and so he's like, this is all going exactly as I planned. Mwahaha. Not really. He says it won't be long now. But nice. He might as well have said the classic villain line.
Yeah, he's like a finger steepling villain.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So he steps through the teleporter. So we as the players know that he's also teleported his way down to the Ring of Fire, but our characters do not see him do that. So we're just thinking we're gonna go in and fight the Mersat, and here we are, down at the Ring of Fire island chain.
Yeah, essentially our character is like, well, I guess we've beat the game, right? Like we've crushed the White Mantle, we've driven the Mersat back to their kind of final stronghold, and it's just kind of cleanup duty now.
Right, but it's never that simple.
No, it's not. And one thing I'll say about the content this episode compared to the content last episode is Thunderhead Keep in particular. Iron Mines of Mulladoon and Thunderhead Keep in particular, I think are pretty poorly designed missions, especially the bonus for Thunderhead Keep. There's just a lot of nothing going on in vast swaths of those two missions.
Yes.
I think the two missions we played today are a lot tighter.
Yeah.
And the like some actual game design was employed in the construction of the like combat mechanics and stuff,
or tighter editing on it, on the mission plot line development. I don't know, but yes, it was cleaner. It was it was more held together.
Yeah, these missions were pretty fun, I think. If you tried it, there's 2 strats you can use for the Ring of Fire one. I tried both of them, and
So
I ended up doing the brute force strategy.
Yeah, that's my preferred method, but I couldn't get it done.
Okay, gotcha. We will jump into Ring of Fire and see how our experiences contrasted. And then I think we probably had a contrasting experience on Abaddon's Mouth too, because I actually had quite a bit of trouble with Abaddon's Mouth.
Oh, okay.
So once we land on the Ring of Fire island chain, which is to the south, if you look at the Tyrian map, it's like way down in the corner. It's all volcano-y, like lava-y, obsidian, fire, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Petrified wood,
Yeah.
And we land at a place called Ember Light Camp.
Yes.
And this place looks cool.
Yes, it does.
It's like they pulled the map artists into a meeting and they were like, I want you guys to go fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Just the whole, not just Ember Light Camp, but like Perdition Rock, which is the explorable area outside, and all the scenery and the missions. It's very, it's just very cool. There's like faces screaming out of the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on fire. There's lava. All the trees look like dead, and it's just it's a really end game looking place. It makes you feel like, oh shit, this is the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like the Ring of Fire, and I think they did a pretty good job on recreating it in Guild Wars 2 as well.
Yes, our jumping puzzle dev was the one who really worked on Ember Bay in Guild Wars 2. What was his name again?
I don't follow the ArenaNet developer names. I don't know who makes everything. I don't like that jumping puzzle though.
Well, I know because he's always really good at making really hard ones. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of jumping puzzles. I do not know how much jumping puzzle content will be featured in season 8 of this show when we get to Guild Wars 2. But we are trucking along through Guild Wars 1. We've got this episode, and next episode is going to be the finale for Prophecies. So when we get to Ember Light Camp, there's not too many people to talk to.
Nope.
There's some dwarves standing around.
Yes.
One of them is the vendor, and then one of them is a skill trainer who did not have any useful skills.
No. Yeah.
You didn't get any skills from the.
I think I picked up one because I thought, oh, that'll be useful running around on this island chain, and then I forgot to slot it in. So I unlocked it on my character. Hey. But
yeah, there's a lot of elite skills to capture, both in the missions and in the explorable area outside Ember Light Camp. It's kind of like, okay, you're at the end of the game. Here's all the elite skills for you to capture. The problem with Guild Wars Prophecies is it has random boss spawning, and there's more bosses than there are spawn slots. So sometimes the boss you want just isn't going to spawn. I was getting kind of underwhelmed by Earthshaker a little bit. I was finding like, very situational, not hitting the multi-knockdown as often as I want. Maybe I'll go grab a skill called Backbreaker, which is it's like a heavier duty version, but it only hits one target. But I could not get the boss to spawn for the life of me. Until I did the mission and it spawned in the mission and I no longer had the capture signet on me.
Of course.
Yeah, so there's footage of me killing the boss and not getting to capture the skill. That was a really good time. I like that. I also, did you notice the in Ember Light Camp, the area sign that's next to the portal to Perdition Rock?
No, I saw a Perdition Rock sign, but I don't remember seeing another one.
No, yeah, the Perdition Rock sign is the one I'm talking about.
Okay. Yes.
It's got like a little map of Tyria on it.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, a little pixelated Tyria map. I was like, that's a nice touch. I like that.
It's like a "you are here."
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I like that. That's good stuff. And then you come out of, because we got to talk to Shadow.
Shadow, yes.
Who we've talked to before.
Yes, we have.
She has the spider.
Yep.
And I think it's wandering around there with her.
It is Carlotta.
Yes. The quest she has is the final primary quest of the game. It's called final blow.
Yep.
And what does she want us to go do?
So she wants us to if I can find my notes, it'll be better. She wants us to go and kill the White Mantle inner council members who are supposed to be meeting up with the Mersat.
Yeah, what are these guys' names?
They're called Counselor Bolivar, Cuthbert, and Argyle.
What a bunch of nerds.
I feel like they took these names from like the South American and the United Kingdom clash for the Falkland Islands. I'm just going to say it.
I mean, you might be onto something. I just felt like this collection of names, Argyle, Bolivar, and Cuthbert, it sounds like people you'd invite to a stuffy dinner party.
Yes.
100%. Not exactly like intimidating inner council members of the White Mantle. But yeah, they're who we got to go kind of assassinate. They're like the last human leadership of the White Mantle. The Mersat are kind of running the show now that Dorian's dead. And then I found the quest accept dialogue kind of interesting. When you've read through the dialogue and you accept the quest, your character says, "I was born for this."
I was born for this, yes.
And there's a few more references to you being the Flame Seeker. Throughout
the chosen one.
Yeah, throughout this episode. And so it's kind of true. We kind of were born for this. But if we continue to play through the Guild Wars campaigns, you'll find we were born for so much more. But for now, we were born for this.
Yeah, it's funny too because she does make a comment that the White Mantle are kind of acting like a snake without its head now that Dorian is dead because we killed him in Thunderhead Keep.
Yeah, there's some good flavor dialogue writing in this episode. Both her and the podium guy for Ring of Fire have some good dialogue. She describes the White Mantle as a snake without its head, still constricting those that the White Mantle oppresses, but without eyes to see or teeth to bite. That was pretty cool. I like those pros. Whoever worked on that was really feeling it.
Yeah.
And then to do this quest, you exit Ember Light Camp into the Perdition Rock explorable area, and there's immediately like 50 enemies in front of you.
Yeah.
Rotating in a circle, like swirling a toilet bowl.
Pretty much.
And you gotta kind of just like pluck them one group at a time out of this orbit that they're on and kill them. Did you over aggro here?
A little bit. Yeah, I tried to be careful, just because I have not so fond memories of over aggroing just out the gate of this map, or of that outpost. And
there's some new all enemies are like upgraded versions of enemies we've seen before, but there are some brand new ones. I don't think we've ever seen flesh golems before.
No, because we've seen little golems and they've been little. And these guys are like on steroids and 7,000 feet tall.
Yeah, they're like 14 feet tall and they look nightmarish.
They really do.
They look like something. Have you ever seen the anime? And it was of course a manga first. Berserk.
I think I've seen bits of it.
If anyone's seen Berserk, it looks like something out of Berserk, like just a truly eldritch horror.
Eldritch horror. Go with your eldritch sextons.
I was going to say, not to be confused with eldritch sextons, which I think are involved in the summoning of these horrific-looking flesh golems. They're just like meat on the bone, but walking around.
Yes.
Yeah, they're horrifying. Their heads are just like kind of a horned bone
enormous skulls. Yeah,
thing.
It's very...
Yeah, no, they're crazy looking. They're very easy to kill.
Yeah, and the creature designers, I feel like they had a really good time with this.
I think so. Yeah, no, the creature designers went hard. The map artists and creature designers, just the art team, like really went all in on the Ring of Fire stuff. Because one thing I was admiring throughout this playthrough was not just the like volcanic faces in the stone and stuff, but the Mersat architecture in their buildings. It all looks really fantastically alien.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, it makes you look like it makes you feel like this is something that my character cannot even begin to understand.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. This once you get past this initial like circling group of mobs outside the portal, it's not that hard to get to the quest area.
No.
But around the corner, we do run into an ether seal.
Yes.
What are these?
So ether seals are seals that they pulse out essentially air elemental magic, and they will deplete your character and your party members of their energy very quickly because of the area effect that they've got going on. So you want to take them out as quickly as you can. However, they are surrounded by jade bows that just kind of stand guard over them. So you kind of want to either spike them down quickly, if you can, or if you're running with henchmen, you want to pull the jade bow away and then go in and take out the seals. That was my method anyway.
Yeah, the way you do these is highly dependent on how many enemies are with them, how they're positioned, and where you need to get to. Yep. Like, I found the way I was tackling each of them to be almost different every time. Mm-hmm. I think they're a good addition to the game at this particular point, because you as the player at this point, you're max level, you've got maxed out armor, you've probably got a maxed out weapon, you've probably got an elite skill on your bar, right? Mm-hmm. They're expecting you to demonstrate further mastery of the game mechanics by now being able to deal with, okay, you have a pulsing field that the enemy is at the center of, and this field does both damage and depletes energy. Oh, and the enemy that you need to kill uses really high damage air magic. Oh, and there's ads as well. Deal with this. So there's a lot of interesting mechanical additions to the game in this episode that I really like. These are a fun kind of puzzle to deal with. Obviously, we've played the game before, so they're probably not as frustrating for us. I remember when I first started playing this game, these were a living nightmare. Yeah. Very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, but now we know what to do, so we just kind of go with our...
Yeah, physical damage dealers are really good against these.
Yes.
Me and Devona shred these things.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about your energy as much as... Because you're just building adrenaline, yeah? Yeah,
and the ether seal is very lightly armored, so my auto attacks hit it for like 40.
Nice.
Yeah, so we can get him down pretty quick with a couple warriors, and I've got Aiden on the team too. I think rangers hit these pretty hard with arrows. So yeah, your physical damage dealers are going to be your friend here. And then keeping your casters, if you can, outside the energy field, which is easier said than done with henchmen.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're going to run into a lot more of these.
Yes.
But we just have to get past the one at this point in the quest. And I think there's no going around it. I think you have to get past it to do the quest.
Yeah, it's basically teaching you the mechanic that you'll be running into in the missions.
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't have a tough time with the first one, but there's some tough times ahead with multi-ether seals and lots more mobs that come with the ether seals. So that's going to be fun to talk about. I am very interested to hear about your strategies. And after we get through this, there's a few enemies, right? We have to fight our way through. The Hydras are level 24 now. They're called Mago Hydras.
Mago.
They destroy you with fire skills. Like it's not new. It's not new. The numbers are just bigger. They cast Meteor Shower. It's not a fun time.
Yeah. I think they also cast Inferno.
They cast Inferno.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, and my strategy was running in well ahead of my team to get them to cast Meteor Shower on me, because it's fine if they cast it on me. I just cannot have it hitting my squishy spellcasters.
Right.
So that seemed to work pretty well. The flesh golems are really easy to kill.
Yeah.
Dark flame driders are very easy to kill. They're just driders. They're purple this time.
Yeah.
There's drakes. Just drakes.
Yeah, they're nothing so far in this mission was really anything other than the flesh golems being ginormous. Everything else was versions of things that we've seen before.
Yeah, there's phantoms, which are just little eidolons.
Mm-hmm.
And there's igneous ettins, which they're just the same ettins. They're just level 24 now.
Yes, and they're igneous because they're from the volcano land.
Right, yeah, it's fiery, so they are igneous ettins. One of these guys was who I needed to capture that skill from, and I did not end up getting to do that. And yeah, you kind of just...
Were you looking for... Wait, I have his name down because it was cracking me up.
Like Furk something?
Furk, yes. Yes, that guy.
Furk Web Club or something like that.
Furk Mallet.
Yeah, Furk
I
Mallet.
ran into him a bajillion times running Ring of Fire.
I only found him the one time.
Yeah, he spawned for me like 3. But I did have to rerun that mission several times.
Yeah, I died a few times on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But after you get through this ether seal, you hack your way through like the local flora and fauna. And you get to where the Argyle, Bolivar, and Cuthbert types are just hanging out on a plinth.
On a plinth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're having a meeting?
Yes, they were supposed to be meeting with the Mersat, but the Mersat are not anywhere to be found.
The Mersat are on fucking lockdown at this point.
Yeah.
Like, they do not... I don't think they care about the White Man. The White Mantle has failed, right?
Yes.
The Mersat are doing their own thing now, because it's like the podium guy at the next mission basically says, dude, the Mersat are not scared of anything more than they're scared of you.
Yeah.
So the White Man, they're kind of just like, yeah, whatever, White Mantle, we have Aaron coming. Okay, this is a fucking emergency.
Yeah, we don't need you guys and your stupidity anymore.
Well, it makes every time that the game at this stage, because they did it in Ice Cave of Sorrows and in Iron Mines of Muladin a bit as well. Every time the game at this point in our power level has us fight like level 20 and level 16 White Mantle, it just kind of points out like, oh yeah, we're mad powerful now.
Right.
And like the regular forces of Tyria could not even hope to compete.
Yeah. So once we kill these 3 counselors, we have to talk to Captain Grumby, who's around the corner from the plinth, around the backside.
Yeah, what a goofy name.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Grumby. Sounds like a Muppet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, and he's just hanging out, and apparently we find out that he's essentially the boat captain that the White Mantle paid to bring them to the Ring of Fire.
And he specifically comments on the absurd ease with which we wiped out the White Mantle.
You destroyed the Inner Council like you were swatting a fly. Your bravery inspires me.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to accept the White Mantle's coin anymore. And I'm like, are you really? Or you're just scared that we're going to kill you?
Well, it's really funny. I found his dialogue to be, like, funny, but also, like, poorly written. Because he's like, oh, I couldn't possibly betray the White Mantle. Let's see, what is the exact line that he says? He says the White Mantle would burn his home and stuff his spirit in one of those evil statues.
Yeah, yeah.
And then literally the next dialogue option, he goes, never mind, I changed my mind, I'll help you.
Yeah, I think he's just a shyster, and so I think that's what the dialogue is kind of trying to show you, in case you missed it.
Yeah, he's basically one of these, like, fast talking types. Wheelin' and dealin'.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Grumby. What a character that we meet one time ever in the game.
Yes. And we're like, take us to the Ring of Fire Island chain.
Yeah, I was under the impression we're already
there.
Yeah, that was my impression too. I was like, wait, did I miss something?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, so I guess we're going to the Ring of Fire Island chain proper.
Yeah.
This Perdition Rock is like an outlying island that apparently doesn't count, even though it's like literally made of volcano.
Yeah. Yes. We want to go to the big island of Hawaii.
Exactly, yeah. We got to take
this little thing.
We got to take the Grumby Express to the big island.
Right.
Where the doors of Kamali and the big volcanoes are.
Yes.
And the big bloodstone chunks. So once we convince Grumby, so we basically wiped out the rest of the leadership of the White Mantle. Like they're broken.
Yep.
Until Warren Kryda when we find out they're actually stronger than ever. but that's later.
Right.
Yeah. No, that we are not done with the White Mantle, guys.
Yeah.
But for now we are, and we take the boat over to the mission outpost, which is just called Ring of Fire, and that is where we're going to start the mission. Now, when you spawned into the Ring of Fire mission outpost, and you pressed Alt and looked around at all the friendly NPC names, did one stand out to you as utterly bizarre?
You mean other than the podium guy, whose first name was Fogard?
Yeah,
Fogard Axmighty, who's actually the guy who gives us the quest reward.
Yes.
For Final Blow.
Specifically, there is the merchant NPC has a really weird name.
What was his name?
His name is it's spelled GNIK apostrophe EKAJ.
Cool.
So Nick Ikaj.
Oh.
Yeah, and so when I saw this name, I was like, that's fucking weird, right? Every dwarf is named like Hamgar Bright Axe, right? Or something of the sort.
So it's really, if you read it backwards, it's Jake King.
Yeah, so I pulled up the wiki and I looked it up, and apparently a guy named Jake King was one of the alpha testers. So this is his name in the game.
Right.
But yeah, that stood out to me, and I was like, I bet there's a fucking reason for that. And it turns out there is.
Yeah. Of course.
So that was good. And the podium guy is a random dude named Fogard Axmighty.
He's a dwarf, and he's not on a podium. He's just standing there. Theme. Yeah, he's just standing there on a plinth, on the top of the stairs. But this is the theme
plinth, not the same as podium.
No. The theme of the Ring of Fire Island chain missions is that our podium people are standing on the ground.
I enjoy that bothers you a lot. That we've had podium individuals all the way up until this point in the game, and now no podium.
And I'm like, and I'm literally looking for the soapbox and the podium person, and I was like, where's my podium? Huh. I wonder if Fogard knows anything. And Fogard had all of the things, and I was like, oh, you're the podium guy. Well, alrighty then. And you're a dwarf.
Yeah, no, I'm Guild Wars 1 developers, like the people at ArenaNet who work on Guild Wars 1, if you're listening right now, add podiums to the Ring of Fire missions, please. It's stressing us both out. Okay.
It was just unexpected. Yes. I don't know, maybe they couldn't ship wood down to the volcano islands. Maybe they thought that the wood for the podiums would burn. I don't know.
I mean, the Zunlai chest people are doing just fine.
This is true, but although that might be, little voodoo Zunlai magic.
I was going to say, didn't we talk to a Zunlai person and they were basically like, yeah, this is like ancient magic we use to make this intercontinental banking thing happen.
Right, yeah. So maybe that box that we interact with isn't actually there.
I think they should strip it down and make it into a podium for... My man Fogard is just hanging out there for eternity with no podium.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
It's just on a... Yeah.
Fix it, ArenaNet. Patch your 20-year-old game for podiums.
So Fogard is there to show us that the dwarves are with us, in case we forgot that Breknar Ironhammer at the end of Thunderhead Keep said that he's going to come down and help us. And Jalis thinks that he's an idiot, along with us, for going down to this volcano. He cautioned us
against doing so, yeah.
He did. But, here's Fogard, so he's, I guess he's part of Breknar's entourage. So it's not just Breknar who showed up. He brought a posse.
Yes, and he's got, he's very knowledgeable about the Mersat and the Flameseeker prophecies, apparently.
Yes.
Because he says that the Mersat know the Flameseeker prophecies and that they've been preparing for this day for years. And what he says is essentially that it's come down to basically there's no more like plots or schemes or like betrayals or stuff happening off camera. It is simply like a bitter fight to the death between the player character and the Mersat.
Right.
And that's what these last 3 missions are going to be, is us just like taking the hammer to the Mersat. For Aaron, quite literally.
Right.
And he says that what we're going to be assaulting is the most heavily guarded fortress in Tyria, which is probably true given how powerful the Mersat are in relation to any other being that's guarding a fortress, right?
Yes.
And he says whatever's inside the door of Komali, which is the door that the Lich mentioned last episode, I think, or Glint mentioned it to us in her vision thing. It's been mentioned.
I think it was Kilbron who mentioned it.
Yeah, it's kind of the crux of this whole deal, of the whole Flameseeker prophecies. Basically, the Mersat guard the door because what's behind it is foretold to be the doom of the Mersat. And the Flameseeker is the one who seeks the flame and wrests whatever's hidden behind the door of Komali from the Mersat to bring about their end, which is us. And so we basically need to go do that.
Yep.
And when he closes his dialogue by saying that the door of Komali scares the Mersat, but that we scare them even more. And then he says that this makes us the most dangerous thing in Tyria.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
So we're kind of like John Wick, the John Wick of Tyria. Yeah. We're the boogeyman. Like parents, like Crichton and Ascalonian parents, tuck their children in at night, saying Aaron's going to come get you if you don't go to sleep.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't want that, kids. You don't want Aaron busting your door down with his hammer.
That's right.
It's not good.
No, he'll scare you. So off we go. Fogard tells us to take the beach and don't get yourself killed.
Yes, like verbatim, that's what he says.
Yes.
He's like, it's not rocket science. Just go hit them very hard and don't die.
Yep, pretty much.
And then the mission starts immediately with Breknar Ironhammer sacrificing himself to save us with like very little dialogue and no cutscene or anything.
There's no cutscene. I had read the wiki, so I knew that he was going to be present. And even still, I was like, oh, he's actually he's going for it right now. Right,
immediately. Yeah.
Immediately.
They do not set this up or show this very well.
No. And he just goes off. He starts mouthing off to the Mersat.
He leads a group of 12 of them away from us so we can actually have a chance.
And he's like, I'll buy you enough time to get off the boat. And I'm like, oh, we're on a boat. Okay, cool. And he promises to meet us in the rift with a flagon of ale.
I like that. And Aaron likes ale.
Yeah. He's got good dwarven flavor here. And it's got the good Gimli lines from Lord of the Rings. Taste my axe, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. They just go out and sacrifice themselves. He and his dwarven buddies.
And then it leaves us free and clear to kind of start engaging with the mission.
Yes.
And I didn't really remember that this happens, but I did see it happen. But usually when I start the mission and then I just chill out, reading the wiki for what I'm supposed to do. Right. And so I was like, oh fuck, he's doing the thing that he's supposed to do. The
sacrifice thing. Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because Breknar runs off, the Mersat chase him, and he takes them all out before he dies.
Oh, that must be scripted. I never noticed that he actually takes them out.
Yeah, we cannot save him. And I just kind of just watched him do it, and I was like, well, look at him go.
I did, my character ended up watching him do it as well because I had the wiki pulled up and I was reading that, and then I looked over and I was like, oh, I hope I'm not timed. I hope they're not coming back.
Yeah. Well, I did have to rerun this mission several times because of our strategy, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the last time that I ran it, my warriors decided to go and help Breknar. And I'm like, where are you going? He's got it taken care of. We don't actually need to... Oh, okay, we need to chase you because you might need some healing. Oh, look, my monks are going after you too because you're going off and need some healing. Okay, great. We're all just going to fight.
Was that your pet went off and did that?
No, it was Devona and Little Tom. They just started chasing.
See, you can't have Devona and Little Tom in the same party. They get bad ideas when they're put together. They feed off of each other's warrior stupidity. They can't be trusted.
Except it's funny because, like, every once in a while, like, one of them will just not do anything. Like, their AI will bug out, and the other one will be out there fighting, and I'm like, what are you doing standing over here? Do I need to, like, take a couple of steps forward for you to, like, trigger and realize, oh, hey, look, there's a fight going on?
It might have something to do with, if you have a longbow, like, your range is technically outside of aggro range.
Yeah. So I kept having to play with that, because I did switch from a, what was I running before? My Rotwing,
the Rotwing recurve bow?
Recurve, yes. I was using a recurve bow, thank you. And I switched to a longbow on this one to have a little bit more distance for the ether seals.
I've still got an 8 to 12 damage, no requirement flat bow that I think I got in pre-searing.
But you're not a ranger. I've got a succession of, like, different
Right, no,
bows.
it's just my pulling bow.
Yeah. But I had to switch up my build a bit for this one, because I wanted to use some preparations. I knew we'd be fighting Jade. They don't take poison. So I was like, right, I'm gonna just kill you with fire. So I brought Kindle arrows, and then I went and captured incendiary arrows as well.
Oh, where'd you capture that from?
From the back door path on this mission.
Wait, did you capture it from Mr. Volg Painbrain by chance?
No, I captured it from, what is his name? No, Volg Painbrain has Spike Trap. Cassis Flameweb, which is a lava spitter boss, has incendiary arrows.
Ah, yes, lava spitters. They're like the Ring of Fire versions of spiders.
Yes, they're really annoying.
So how is incendiary arrows? Is that pretty nice?
It's pretty nice. It's an elite bow attack. It just sets things on fire.
And it hits a couple targets, right? Not as many as Barrage, but it hits like 2 or 3 guys, right?
Right. But the advantage is that it does not remove your preparations like Barrage does. And so I was having a better time with that.
Well, and you're not really, because we're not doing a player comp where we're like balling up a whole bunch of mobs where we would necessarily need to hit 6 people at a time, right? Most of these groups are anywhere from 2 to 4. So incendiary arrows is probably going to be the better pick in most of the situations we're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was happy that I captured it, and I've been using it since.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the name Volg Painbrain. I thought that was good.
I did not run into Volg Painbrain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was in my Ring of Fire mission several times. He's a ranger N.
Yeah, and, no, I never came across him at all in all of my many pulls.
Yeah, he's kind of easy.
Cool.
And as far as the plot of this mission, and then we'll get to where it kind of splits up for you to do front door or back door. Once Breknar sacrifices himself, we have to go over and kill another ether seal. We have a massive height advantage against it, so it's actually pretty easy. It's like we're like up on a hill and it's like down a valley, so that's not too hard to get past. And then we kind of meander our way through the mission, killing the local wildlife. There's a lot of killing of local wildlife in Guild Wars in general.
Yes.
And we meet do you have to meet the seer, or can you skip the seer?
You can skip the seer. I skipped him altogether.
Okay, gotcha.
Because he's kind of off of a beaten path.
Yeah, I did the bonus. The bonus is tedious and adds nothing to the mission.
Yeah, because you basically just it's really there in case you don't have infused armor.
It's a rehash bonus, yeah.
And it shows up again in Abaddon's Mouth. Well,
yeah, in Abaddon's Mouth,
bonus, it's like a side quest.
Really. In Abaddon's Mouth, it's there simply to be there. You don't have to engage with it for any purpose, and I did not. But I did do it in this one. It's a pain in the ass, though, because you have to go kill the Mursat Towers, and only then does the Eidolon spawn. Then you got to run his bullshit all the way back to the Seer. That wasn't good. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to do that bonus. I don't need to get my armor infused again. Yeah. So I skipped it.
Yep. So yeah, that bonus kind of a wah-wah situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically make our way over to... we gotta run through we have to wade through a pool of lava at one point, which is a narrative like disconnect that I can't really. It's like a mechanical narrative disconnect that I can't really square myself with.
Yeah, we've got to go through the magma pool, and I'm like, what?
You cannot wade through lava.
No. No, it's like...
It's so stupid.
It's like you're setting yourself on fire, you're crippling yourself, and you basically are like, well, I can't speed run my way through this because I'm crippled, and I'm on fire. So hopefully the entire party has enough health to make it to the other side, and we can then just regen. Or, wait for the monks to do their jobs.
For me, it's just like when you're playing a game, there is a certain level of roleplay happening where you're like, I'm doing things that a hero would do in the world, right? Under no circumstances would anyone ever wade through lava. I hate that this exists because
maybe
it's so...
it's like random.
Yeah, it's so monumentally stupid and it adds nothing to the mission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe it is an attempt at an homage to like Firewalkers. I don't know. But you're basically hip deep in a magma pool, and
there's no way to avoid it. You have to do this.
No, you have to go. And well, yes. So, once you get through, let's see, where are we? We've gone through this. This is by the Ettins, right? That magma pool.
Oh yeah, there's a fight that you have to do in the magma pool.
Oh, did you fight in the magma pool?
So the Ettins are close enough to the magma pool to where you are going to aggro them when you are still in the magma pool. The move is to flag all your henchmen onto the shore so that you do the fight on the shore.
Yes.
And then the Ettins will spill over into the magma pool and they'll start setting themselves on fire, and it's actually kind of nice. But you have to sweet spot it because there's a group of Mursat just behind the Ettins, and you don't want to aggro both. So it's tricky.
I attempted to pull the Ettin to the other shore before we waded through the pool. That worked. And then I was like, you know what? Those that Mursat and Jade group, they're far enough away that I think we can just go fight them on the other shore. So I just took ourselves over to the other shore, and we fought them right next to the edge of the pool. Watched some of them burn to the pool, and while we also did damage to them, and then we were okay.
Yeah, I waded across and then fought the Ettins and had to kind of keep it tight so I didn't aggro it kind of sticks you in between a lava pool and a Mursat. Which is
Ether Seal, yeah.
Yeah,
a boss.
Which is bad. Yeah, and the boss that I had was a monk here. But he was by himself, so it was fine.
Coventina the Matron, is that who you got?
I don't think I wrote her name down.
I wrote down so many. I think I ran into every single boss except for Volga Painbrain. Did you run
into Pit Spite Spew?
I sure did.
Yeah, my boy Pit.
Yes, who uses migraine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember Spite Spew. That's a great. That's a future MMO character. Maybe my factions playthrough will be Spite Spew, the assassin. But yeah, we after this lava pool and we defeat this Ether Seal with the Mursat boss, there's a cutscene.
Yes, we get a cutscene. Vizier Kilbron shows up out of thin air because he's got the Scepter of War and he can do that. And he tells us that the fortress is heavily guarded, and he says, "To the top of the volcano." He saw it, basically. That's a very short version of his long speech.
Yeah, he says that the Mursat have many anti-magic defenses and that he can feel them draining his power. Mm-hmm. That's kind of nice flavor. But yeah, he doesn't really have anything interesting to say. He just says, "You're doing good. Keep going." That's essentially the up and down of the cutscene.
Yeah.
And then I killed Pit Spite Spew after that cutscene.
Yes. I got Pit Spite Spew there a couple of times, and I also got Jith Sprayburst.
Jith, like GIF?
JYTH. Jith. Yes.
Okay. That's I don't like Jith so much.
Yeah. That was an elementalist rider boss. So,
Mm-hmm. And those are the breeze riders, the upgrade to the whatever the last fucking one was.
Yeah.
There's been so many different riders, I've lost track.
the riders now in the Ring of Fire are basically breeze keepers.
Yeah, breeze keepers. That's the one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the last monk, not monk, but the last boss that I've found of that variety is a monk boss called Groon Gale Surge, and he's a monk boss.
I did not meet Groon.
Yeah, he's kind of harder to kill because he's a monk.
We can talk about once we get into the fortress that we're about to assault. We could talk about how difficult I've been finding it to actually kill the bosses in this content.
So okay. Well, tell us about it now.
Well, because we've just rolled up on the Mersat Fortress. So after this cutscene, you find yourself outside of Mersat Fortress. There's like 18 ether seals. There's actually not as many enemies as I thought there would be. There's like 2 patrols, but it's very complicated killing them because of, I think there's 4 ether seals total.
Yeah, there's actually 2 that are down below, 1 at the door that opens the door, and then 2 inside the door.
Yeah, and then several more inside. Yeah.
Correct.
And so this is what's called in this mission the front door. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to go this way.
No.
It's
Kilbron. If we'd listened to Kilbron, he's like, go to the top of the volcano. He's basically telling you to go the back doorway.
Yes. Yeah, the way you're supposed to do it is to go around. I tried this a couple times. Did you try it a couple times to go around?
I did. Yes, I tried both methods, and I finally beat the mission by doing the back door method. And I had no memory of ever doing this back path.
Okay, I got blown up by fire imps going the back way.
Yeah. Yes, I did as well.
I had to restart a couple times because
I had the lava spitters, which you can over aggro on them.
I learned this the hard way. Yep.
Yes. And once you get past the lava spitters, you have to get through lava imps, who have Inferno and Meteor Shower, I think, as well. And a bunch of fire skills. Basically, they're just going to spike you down with, like, fire.
Yeah, and they have unlike the Hydras have skills that have long charge-up times that are easy to interrupt, and the imps, they get their casts off, so they dump out a lot of damage on you. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Menlo and Lena just couldn't handle it.
They could not keep up, especially if you over aggro. Now, generally, the patrols of the lava imps, they're not like big patrols. They're like little groupings of 3.
They just do a lot of damage really fast.
Exactly. And there are times when you might overlap two little patrols, and then you're basically fucked with henchmen. So if you can kind of skirt over, kind of hug a wall, and avoid the first clump of them that you'll see on the minimap appear, and you don't have to engage them, just kind of hug the wall, and then wade your way through a couple of magma pools, and then awaiting you on the other side are more lava imps. And they don't have large patrol distances. I had a group that was just on the other side of one lava pool, and they just shimmied back and forth. It was like they were just hitting their like Q and E buttons, and then just kind of going, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, they kind of wander around.
Yeah, but
they
mill
didn't
about. Really wander.
Yeah, they mill about. They loiter.
Just kind of like, it's like they were. Yes, loitering is the better word. It's kind of like they were standing there, plugging their hands in their ears and like sticking their tongue out at you and going, saying nee 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 nee, come and get me, and then you show up on fire, and then they nuke you down with more fire. It's great. And
then you start shooting them with your fire, and you're like, oh, I'm using fire against fire enemies. It's not working.
Yeah.
What do I do?
And basically, on my successful run, I lost everyone except Menlo. And I'm like, Menlo, don't you dare die on me, because I don't want to restart this mission again.
I had a very similar experience in the next mission, and we'll hear about that then. So you were able to make it to the back door and get inside.
Yes. Menlo lived. He rezzed the entire party. I had a couple of honeycombs in my inventory, and I used them to try and get some of the death penalty off of my people. And we carried on avoiding lava imps and wading through a couple more pools, and we got to the back door.
Yeah, so I failed the back doorway a few times. I did not get past the imps. So I decided to try going through the front.
Yes.
And
I prefer that method.
yeah, it's a little, so it's, I don't know if it's faster with henchmen, because with henchmen you have to be so careful that it takes a long time anyway. Basically what I did was I pulled the two groups, there's two patrols, and I pulled them and killed them one at a time. I pulled them out to the edge of the ether seals and I killed them one by one. And then I flagged everybody as far to one side as I could, so that we're only getting tapped by one seal while we kill the one seal. Then I flagged everybody over to the next one, and I did that one.
That's good.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do the two seals on the door, because...
The ones inside the door?
Yeah. So the ones that are directly on the door, because there's the two towers, and then there's the two seals directly on the door that you have to kill to open it. And the enemies behind can aggro you while you're trying to do this. But they do patrol. You do have a small window where they won't aggro, and I managed to get in that window and kill one of the seals, and then retreat, wait for the patrol again, and then get back in and kill the other one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this all took like 40 minutes of just like flagging, unflagging, killing one at a time. Because you also have to recuperate between each engagement with a seal, because everybody's energy is at 0.
Yeah.
So there's footage of me just slash dancing while all our energy goes back up. Yeah, for the next engagement. So to make a long story short, I spend an hour of my life flagging tediously, and pulling mobs tediously, and making it so that I only ever engage the minimum amount of enemies necessary. And I managed to get through the front door and kill all the seals and the bosses, the Mursat caster bosses specifically, even more specifically, the elementalist and mesmer bosses.
So who did you run into?
So I didn't even write them down, but something the something, right, and something the something.
Because the elementalist should be. I think you should have run into Maida the Ill-Tempered, which I thought was a good name.
I did run into Maida the Ill-Tempered, yes. And they have such high physical damage resistance, and casters usually don't. But I found like it was taking me like 2-3 solid minutes of just wailing on the elementalist and mesmer Mursat bosses to actually kill them.
Now, did you take Dunham with you?
I did, yeah, and he's a good interrupter, but his primary method of dealing damage is empathy. And it doesn't really work on casters.
No. Did you said you took Aiden and that you took Devona. Who else was in your comp?
So it's me, Devona, Aiden, Sin, Eve, Dunham, Lena, Menlo.
Yeah.
And just not a good Mursat boss killing party, apparently. Yeah, really low DPS. I just had to sit there smashing my hand in the car door of these bosses. They're not dangerous. Like, my group is not in any danger of dying at any point. It's just it's a war of attrition.
Right.
So I was able to get in and pull the lever, which I have a note here that says the game tells us we need to pull a lever. It's actually a button. We press a button.
It is. It's on the ground.
Yeah, and it depresses. It is not a lever.
I know. I was like, where's the lever that I've got to pull? And I'm like, oh, there it is. And then when I finally ran over to it, I'm like, it's like a seal in the ground. That is called a button, friends.
Yeah, it's absolutely a button. I'm glad you took the same level of grievance with that as I did. Yeah, because it is labeled as a lever in the game.
I'm like, please just label it button.
Yeah, absolutely. I would even take switch. It's not a switch, but I would take switch over lever.
Switch is probably closer.
Yes, absolutely. And I think so. You come because I can see the ether seal on the door that you come through on the back door. I didn't even bother killing it because I don't care, right? I don't need to. So you came in that way, and then we both would have killed what's her face, the Ill-Tempered, and then hit the lever button, and now we can go across the bridge.
Yeah, I actually had. On the backdoor success mission, I had Odalin the Displeased.
I like this name, Odalin the Displeased.
It is
I wrote
very
it down.
Good. Yeah.
Well, because I think
Yeah.
Odalin the Displeased is always, it's a guaranteed boss for the end boss of this mission.
Yeah.
And I think it's to illustrate the attitude of the Mersat leadership at the moment.
They're
Like,
kind of ticked off.
at this moment in time, they are displeased.
They're displeased. They're ill-tempered. Yes.
Yeah, the
100%.
ill-tempered, the displeased. The Mersat names are pretty good. We get to meet Mercia the Smug in the next mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Willa the Unpleasant is also in the next mission.
I think that is correct. Yes.
Yeah,
And then
that's great.
The Jade bosses are all of our variation on Cairn. Cairn the something.
Yeah, they're all Cairns.
Yes.
And they're only Rangers or Warriors.
Correct.
Until we get to War and Krydo, where they're elementalists, and it's fucking off the rails. But we're not there yet. Thank God.
Right.
And once we get to Odalin's easier for me to kill. But he's in like this cool like arena, like flame lit jade arena thing. It looks like a gladiator coliseum. It's cool.
So Odalin was your end boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of the Cairns. I had the Ranger.
Oh, okay. So
Cairn
Odalin was on the bridge for you?
Odalin was next to the button lever, and I had, as the end boss, I had Cairn the Troubling, the Ranger boss.
Oh, okay. So I had Cairn the Troubling in the next mission. I had the Ill-Tempered was my button boss.
Okay.
And then I had some Mesmer lady on the bridge.
Who was? You had the Mesmer on the bridge.
Yeah.
I had Cairn the Smug on the bridge, which is a warrior.
Okay, gotcha.
And
so they've got a Smug Jade and a Smug Mersat. Because Mercia the Smug is like, she's not just any Mersat, she's like one of the head honcho Mersats.
Yeah. Now, Cairn the Smug, the Jade warrior, has devastating hammer as the elite that you can capture. And I saw this and I thought of you.
Yeah, devastating hammer is kind of like Earthshaker. But it's single target. I think it does like a 4-second knockdown though. It's really
it's got a knockdown on it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's quite a beefcake of a knockdown. And of course, I did not have a cap sig, so I could not capture it.
Right.
Yeah. I think I ran into him on the next mission as well. But yeah, Odalin was my final boss in like the arena. He's pretty easy.
Yeah, I thought so. And then once whoever your end boss is dead, Kilbron shows up again. Vizier Kilbron.
Yeah.
And he tells us, we get a little cutscene, he tells us not to mourn the dead, that they sacrificed themselves and gave us a gift by doing so, and that we will meet them in the Hall of Heroes on the other side, essentially. And then he materializes Breknar's body on a
litter?
It's on a tablet, basically, of wood. I'm forgetting the word. But basically, then he puts him on a bonfire and sets him alight.
Yeah, and
that his spirit can return to the Great Dwarf.
Well, and what I found so bizarre about this is because he can clearly teleport the body wherever he wants. Instead of just materializing it on the fire, he materializes it on a bed that he then levitates into the fire.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, my dude, okay.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that likes to add extra steps for dramatic effect. He's a very dramatic effect kind of guy.
He's a little extra. That's it.
Like showing up in ghost form before showing up for real in the Thunderhead Keep mission.
Yes. He skipped that whole step now. Now he's just showing up bodily and we're like, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, he kind of just checks in. And he was doing that in Sanctum K, and we were noticing in Sanctum K how weird it was that he would just check in. This is something he keeps doing.
In case you lose your way. Hey, it's this way. Come and follow me.
Yeah, I guess it's still like, because we've played like the whole game at this point. We followed the story pretty in a pretty focused nature, and he still doesn't really feel like a fleshed out character. Yeah, he doesn't really feel like somebody I'm going on the journey with. We're basically following him because Avenia told us to. Yeah, and Avenia's alive. Like, she's fine. She should be here, like, with us. And she's not. Yeah, tracking the White Mantle down and killing their final leadership. Avenia should be there for that, and she's completely out of the game. Yeah. And yeah, we just kind of do whatever the Vizier asks us to with very little, knowing pretty much nothing about him.
No, and it's like you would think that we would have some level of suspicion, given the fact that, well, we've just been duped by the White Mantle.
We've been duped by everyone we've ever interacted with.
Yeah, and you'd think that, you would think we would know better. Why are we just following this guy with no questions asked?
Yeah, and we're gonna learn why we're doing that. Maybe not why, but we're gonna learn what the results of us doing that are in the next mission. But yeah, he gives this very elaborate speech about Brucknar ascending to the afterlife as he levitates him onto a funeral pyre. And then he says we must make for the teeth of Abaddon's mouth and the door of Komali.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it pops us in the mission outpost, which is, I thought this was kind of cool that the Abaddon's Mouth mission outpost is literally just that area that we killed the final boss for that mission in. It's that circular arena kind of area.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it when places that I'm fighting in are now places that I'm safe in.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like progress has been made.
Exactly. And so here we are, Abaddon's Mouth outpost for the mission. Who is our podium guy?
Podium guy is Blade Warrior Olivio. And I want to focus on his name. Blade Warrior.
Yeah.
Olivio.
Olivio.
Did this strike you as weird?
No, I thought he was just a Shining Blade member, and he's a warrior from the Shining Blade. So that's what I took it as.
Is he a warrior though?
I don't know.
He's got a water wand and a focus.
Oh,
and he
Lord,
is dressed in like a sweater and a scarf.
I did not pay that close attention to his clothes. I was like, oh.
He's very, very much a spellcaster.
Yes, now that I've pulled his I've pulled him up on the wiki. Yeah, no. Why is he even called the Blade Warrior?
Yeah, no, this is a problem. ArenaNet, fix it and give him a podium.
Yes, clearly he's Shining Blade, so the blade fits, but he's not a warrior.
We're having such deep issues late in the game here with the podium guy system, and it's not okay.
I don't know. What would the option be to call him instead of a warrior? Blade wand?
Blade. I mean,
staff?
If we're just because a warrior is just a profession name, right? So we could just call him Blade Elementalist, but I bet that's too fucking long.
Right.
And it just doesn't have the same ring to it. You could just call him Blade Scout. Just call him Scout.
The wiki says that he's a monk
with a water wand and a elemental.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's something suspicious going on with Blade Warrior Olivio. Okay.
Yeah.
Just really
Shining Blade. The Shining Blade are good at being cheeky and
sure. Yeah, he's multi-profession. He can change his profession to whatever. He just flipped it over, but he's still got his elementalist gear on. What are you gonna do? Blade Warrior Olivio also ascended and able to change his second profession at will.
And not standing on a podium and standing on the ground. So yeah.
Yeah, no, we're never going to get over it.
No. But what does he have to say for himself?
He basically knows a lot about what's currently going on. He says that the door of Komali is in the caldera of the volcano, which I think we already know. And behind it is the only chance of defeating the Mersat. We still have no idea what this is or what this means. But we're doing it because Vizier Kilbron told us to, and we're incapable of thinking for ourselves.
Right. And he tells us, don't worry, Vizier Kilbron will show you where it is.
Yeah, no.
Just follow him.
Whenever we have questions that he does not know the answer to, he just says, the Vizier knows, don't worry.
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't know what's... Because we ask him, do you know what's behind the door? And he's like, no idea, bro.
Pretty much.
No idea. Go open it.
He's just heard the legends about it.
Yeah.
So, and we're like, legends?
Yeah, and he does say, well, the legends say that it could lead to the Hall of Heroes, or that it could lead so deep into the mists that it reaches the very sanctum of the gods themselves. And I'm like, wait, hold up, what?
Yeah. So, gateway to another realm, ?
Yeah, he's like, I like how they're quite underselling the nature of this door, and then they're like, well, legend says it could be a pathway to the heavens.
You're okay.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, no, I had no idea we were at this level of drama. But yeah, it's the second to last mission in the game. So we just have
And
this mission and then the last one.
so, and then the question is like, all right, well, if it's like a gateway to another realm, potentially leading to where the gods are, what are the Masat afraid of? Are the Masat afraid of the gods? I don't know.
I mean,
are they
if
afraid of the Hall of Heroes? Are they afraid of the mists? I don't know.
and if you're playing the game for the first time and you're not lore pilled, right? But you like, let's say you're not lore pilled, but you've been paying attention. You could start theorizing to yourself, oh, is this why the gods aren't here anymore? Because their doorway was shut by the Mersat. Like things like that, your brain starts working, right? So it's kind of a cool idea to have us not know what's behind the door, because then if you're a player that's been paying attention, you can kind of start thinking of like taking the knowledge the game has given you and employing it. Right. But we will find out what's behind the door in this mission.
Yes.
Because the mission is to open the door.
That's right. We have to go and open the door.
But we have to get past the Onyx Gate.
Yes.
Which is the Mersat's most heavily guarded outpost.
Which is what Vizier Kilbron told us about the last fortress.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that. He was like, it doesn't get worse than this, bro. Oh, wait, it totally does.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's kind of the mission start point is we jump off and we gotta go break down more gates, kill more Mersat, kill more ether seals. And
so Kilbron shows up, and basically almost as soon as we start the mission to lead us on our way to the Caldera and the Onyx Gate. And this time in this mission, his dialogue shows up in the chat box.
Yeah, there's the bonus dialogue shows up in the chat box as well.
Yes. I don't know why it didn't in the last mission. Ring of Fire.
The prophecies is just so inconsistent with what does and doesn't show up in the chat box.
But it's funny because like they had gotten to we made a point of this. I can't remember what episode it was, that there was a turning point and like things were starting to show up in the chat box consistently. And so when it wasn't in Ring of Fire, I was like, wait, what happened to my dialogue? I missed all of that dialogue. Okay,
Arena, you were doing so good.
Yeah, but they're back to being on track and in the chat box again, which is great. In this mission.
Yes, and the first time I tried this mission, I got eaten alive trying to go into the gate of this fortress.
He does give us. How many times did you have to run this one?
So I died in like the first 5 minutes the first time, and then I managed to complete it the second time through. So I only had to restart it once. Okay. And when we run in, the Vizier does his little materialize thing. Hey, just checking in. I've got this sweet spell I can cast on you, but I can only do it one time, so make the best of it. Yeah. He casts something on us called Chimera of Intensity, which is a very cool name for a spell.
It is.
And it basically just like unlocks beast mode.
Yeah, our skills recharge 50% faster. Our spells, any spells that we cast, if you're a spellcaster, cost 50% less energy. And our movement speed is increased by 50%.
The 50% movement speed increase is very nice.
It is, but I think it only lasts like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's only a 5 minute, and he does not recast it. So it's basically to get you inside the gate, because there's a lot of enemies at the gate, and they're at different angles, and you cannot help but aggro all of them.
But every time he shows up, because he shows up at like 3 different points in this mission, every time he shows up, he will recast it on you.
Oh, does he? Mm-hmm. I didn't notice the other times he recast it. That's nice. I like that. Yeah. So that's good on you, Mr. Kilbron. But yeah, there's 2 ways you can handle this gate. You can bust down the seals and then just charge inside and try to kill everything, or you can bust down the seals and back up so that everything has to come to you. Backing up so that everything has to come to you was the move that got me through. Running in got me killed.
In which part of the seals? Which seals are you talking about here?
Yeah, so no, at the very first thing you fight in the mission. So after
to go into like the little fortressy area.
Yeah. The first gate you have to kill, there's like a couple seals, and then there's a couple groups of like spellcasters up on either side, and then there's like a patrol that's gonna join in.
Yeah.
And if you run in after killing the seals, you aggro everything.
Yes. Yeah,
Whereas
so
if you back up, you make everyone funnel themselves into the gateway, and then they're very easy to kill.
Yes.
So
That's true. I did do that as well.
Yeah, the
I
first
used to
time
funnel
the first time I charged in and everybody died. It was bad. But I made it in eventually.
Yeah. And then once you're in, you can basically take on small little groups that are just patrolled around the wall.
Yeah, it's quite easy once you get inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the bonus, you trigger the bonus in this fortress.
Yes. Now, did you trigger the bonus immediately, or did you go and do some trash clearing first?
I cleared the whole bonus route first, and then I came back.
I did as well, because when the wiki said that the NPC is fragile and could be killed, I was like, no.
She's only level 15.
And she's a monk. So I went and cleared the path first as well.
This bonus is kind of interesting flavor-wise, because it's the escort a ghost to a final resting place. We've had this bonus a few times before.
Yeah.
But she basically says that the White Mantle killed her on the Bloodstone, and she can't rest properly there.
Right.
So that's kind of good flavor. She basically.
I really liked it.
Yeah, she asks us. Her name is Leah Stone. She's dressed Ascalonian AF, but I think she's Crichton because she says she wants to be escorted back to somewhere that reminds her of Loamhurst.
Yes.
Which is one of the places we went in Crichton in one of the missions.
Loamhurst is where we got all of the Chosen.
Yes, yeah, that's where we bathed in the eye, for want of a better term.
Right. So she's from that little village, and I liked it because the area that she does want to be taken back to, it does have that sort of like Crichton-y palm trees feel.
Yeah, it's because there's the barren volcanic landscape of the entire island, and then in this little corner there's like some greenery happening, and that's where she wants you to take her.
Yeah, and I thought it was really fitting because volcanic soil is actually quite fertile, and that's how islands are formed.
Yeah, so if you had a spot on this, if you had a spot on this island that was like soily rather than rocky, you might have a little plant oasis pop up like this. Yeah,
it was good flavor. I really liked this bonus.
Yeah, and if you clear the route first, you can see all the points where the game tries to dick you over. Where giant level 28 fireworms pop up.
Yes.
And kill Aiden very unexpectedly. They just like one shot him.
My heavens.
Yeah, if you let them bite you, they do like 200 damage if you don't have any like protective spirit on or anything.
Yeah.
But they're easy to kill if you've got Lena on your team.
Yes.
Because she has protective spirit, which is
she does
a ball in skill. And then everything else you clear from the route is just trash.
Yeah.
There's a boss named Plexus Shadowhook. Thought that was a cool name.
Plexus Shadowhook. That's a great name.
Yeah, I quite like Plexus Shadowhook. He's a Drider.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not run into Plexus Shadowhook. Did not spawn for me. So all I had to kill on the path to clear the path for Leah was the Eidolon for if you don't have infused armor, and Snick the 100-Tongue.
So I read about Snick the 100-Tongue on the wiki, and I was like, that's a sweet name.
Yeah.
But I did not run into him.
It's a ranger, like behemoth.
A crag behemoth.
Yes, and the elite that it has is Barrage.
So it's kind of another opportunity to capture Barrage if you did not get it in Iron Mines. Yes. Okay, that's nice that they give you a second chance so you don't have to run that fucking mission again.
Yes.
There's no universe in which I ever want to do Iron Mines Mulligan again. Once you get that bonus done, it does take a little while because you got it. She runs a bit slowly. She doesn't run super slow. She does run. Like she doesn't walk.
She does run.
Runs.
She will take off. Like you can try to talk to her and she won't stop. She'll just keep running and her dialogue will pop up in a speech bubble and in your chat box.
Yeah, her dialogue does go in the chat box, which I was relieved by because I can't be bothered to type while I'm trying to keep her safe.
No. And there is another lava pool that you have to wade through in order to get to her final resting place. And she actually, I was like, well, I'm glad that your health isn't depleting as quickly as my people's are.
I think she cleanses the cripple too, because she moved through it way faster than I did.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah. So lava, not dangerous to level 15 ghosts. So yeah, she made it, and she just says thank you. I can rest now when you get her to the spot.
I am free now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a nice bonus. A very good time.
I liked it.
Yeah. And then we got to get back to ascending to the volcano caldera, and there's a bunch of Barsat. There's a bunch of bosses. Mm-hmm. You kill them. You know, I ran into Mercia the Smug. Did you run into Mercia?
I probably did, but I didn't write her down.
She's a Mesmer boss. She's also one of the 3 Mersat leaders. So she's like the number 3 behind Lazarus the Dyer, and that who we don't meet in the Prophecies campaign, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
And so a little background lore here, right? And then
Optimus Caliph or Caliph.
Yeah, Optimus Caliph, which is a very cool name, and who we meet guarding the entrance to the door of Kamali.
I ran into Optimus Caliph and Sarlacc the Judge. They were together.
Yeah, he was with Willa the Unpleasant for me, who was a monk, which is a bad combination to get here. The fight was actually kind of hard because she was a monk, because there's an ether seal as well, and I'm like, okay, let's kill the ether seal first because it's easy to kill and it does a lot of damage if I don't kill it. Cannot kill the ether seal because the monk is healing it. Have to kill the monk first while the ether seal and Optimus Caliph wail on me with very high damage air magic. So yeah, bad spawn. But Optimus Caliph is a guaranteed spawn in this spot. He will always be the one here because he is the head honcho of the Mersat, essentially.
Yes, and I think in Ember Bay in Guild Wars 2, Caliph's steps are probably named after him.
Almost certainly, yes.
Yeah.
And his name, you can kind of tell he's the leader. The wiki has some background on his name. It means like highest leader in whatever Latin,
if you paid
I think.
Yes. If you ever pay attention, now friends, if you are not a Latin scholar, just pay attention to the Transformers.
Yes, yeah, he's obviously Optimus Prime, right?
Yes.
Optimus Caliph is kind of like a similar deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then his name is also obviously different than the traditional Mersat naming scheme of something the negative adjective. Something the like simile for unhappy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I did have a bit of a tough time with them, but I managed to get through it. How was fighting Optimus and Sarlacc the Judge?
It wasn't bad. I killed, I think I targeted Optimus first because he's the air ele, and Sarlacc the Judge is a necro. I was like, you're just going to annoy me with like some life transfer skills, but I can interrupt those.
Necros are super weak in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah.
In Prophecies specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not very like intimidating. Very weak armor.
Yeah, and I think I got Willa the Unpleasant hanging out with Cairn the Relentless.
Yeah, so you got Willa instead of Mercia, because that's where I got Mercia the Smug.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Mercia the Smug is named as one of the leaders of the Mersat until the bonus mission that we're going to do next episode.
Okay.
So we'll meet her and Optimus again, as well as a fellow named Lazarus when we do the bonus content. Because when we do the final mission, before we do the final mission next episode, we're going to do the Sol D'Alessio bonus mission.
Yes.
And that's kind of going to tie everything together for Prophecies. But yeah, I got through Optimus Caliph, and then we can head into the volcano, and it's very Mount Doom.
It is very Mount Doom.
It's very cool. It's like it's a whole mood. Tell me about how this went for you, and then I will tell you about what happened with me.
So I go in, we get our little, I think Brazier Kilbrand gives us another little bit of a speech, and sends us in, and we go in and we have to clear the final area with like 6 ether seals.
6, yeah.
Seals. 6 seals, and the seals, when you kill them, spawn seal guards who are like level 10 and pushovers.
They also spawn seal
Mersat.
Mersat
the
Guardians.
Yes. They're not pushovers. You actually, and if you get them coming at you at the same time, then
they come at you from both sides.
Both sides. It kind of is a bad time.
They're air elementalists.
Yeah, they're annoying. I'm so glad that I still had ward against elemental. Okay, I can't remember.
Ward against harm. I think.
Ward against elements. Ward against the elements. That's what it's called. To guard against some elementalist damage, because it did help.
So did you just gun it for all the seals and speed kill them, or did you take it slow?
My plan was to take it slow, and then of course we had all of these stupid ads come on, and I'm like, great. And then I was like, I'm just gonna take out the seals, because if I take out the seals, I can get this mission to just end. But I still had to clear some of the trash. The Guardians were annoying. The Seal Guards, who have Crichton ghost models,
yes.
Which made me think that they were the ghosts trapped of the Crichtons that were killed on the Bloodstones, and that Mersat had somehow twisted them into basically guarding the seals.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's a nice touch that they made them the Crichton models, because they're obviously supposed to be the chosen that were killed on the Bloodstones.
Right.
And then it kind of harkens back to what Captain Grumby said. He was like, dude, they'll kill me and trap my soul in a fucking statue.
Yeah.
This is something that people are scared of the White Mantle doing to you.
And the platform, because the seals are around a platform, and the platform, it's not as big as the Bloodstone and Bloodstone Fen, but it has like a Bloodstone-esque kind of vibe to it. And I was like, is that Bloodstone?
Yeah.
I'm thinking yes.
Yes. And then also the bridge that we walk across to get up to Optimus Caliph, it looks like it's like made of souls.
Yes. Such good flavor here.
Yeah, and it looks the same as the kind of barrier over the door of Komali. If you look in that chamber, you're focused on combat most of the time. It's kind of hard to notice that the door of Komali is sitting right there. And it's like a big jade barrier with like a soul swirly thing over it. It's really cool looking, but like I don't think anyone looks at it because they're playing the content.
Right. But it's fun. If you've done any raiding in Guild Wars 2 and have done the Underworld wing, Daddy Doom wing, that has an a soul bridge as well that has this kind of vibe to it. So it's really cool to see how the devs have brought in echoes from the earlier game into the later game to tie these things together.
And I believe they use that soul bridge model again in the Realm of Torment.
Yes, I do believe you're correct.
In Nightfall, that we'll get to experience soon.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were able to kind of get through the seals, and did you lose anybody?
I did not lose anyone. It was a little touch and go at one point because I was trying to get my party to target one of the seals, and they were hung up on the Guardians. And then I switched to the Guardian. I'm like, well, all right, well, I'm going to come and help you guys since no one is helping me. And then the Warriors went after the seals, and I'm like, I don't, just do whatever. And they started killing the seals without me, and I'm like, I don't care, whatever. Do what you want, AI. Just let us win.
Yeah, I think something that made a bigger difference for you than you realize is that Ward Against Elements skill. I think that did a lot of heavy lifting in keeping you alive.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because the when I was going through Ring of Fire mission originally, I did not have it on my bar, and it was a bad time. And once I brought it in, I dropped in a fire interrupt skill, which I can't remember the name of right now. And I was like, no, I need a ward. I need some protection because I'm losing my people to all of this spike damage. Especially since I was trying to go the back path and those lava imps and the lava spitters. I got a handle on the lava spitters, but the lava imps were just a pain in my rear.
Yeah, because I did not have Ward Against Elements, and I got my ass handed to me in this final fight with the Ether Seals. I think this is a really, really, really well designed encounter because it starts off deceptively easy seeming, and it gets harder the deeper into it you get.
Yeah,
and it really makes you sweat.
Yeah, and in this last area, it really does crank it up to 11. The thing that, you know, in the previous mission and in the primary quest that led up to that mission, the ether seals drained your energy. And in this mission, the ether seals do not.
They don't, yeah. And I thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just little squares, and the graphic for them is really bad too, because you can see the like hitbox highlighted. It's just a square, so they look kind of bad in that regard. But they're still interesting enemies. But yeah, there's 6 of these things. They can cast Mind Shock, I think it is,
and Thunderclap, and
then the Mersat Air Elementalist Guardians come in, and the more seals you kill, the more of them spawn. And I'm trying to go kill a seal, kill the Guardians, and then kill another seal and kill the Guardians. But it turns out when you kill the Guardians, it spawns more Guardians? Question mark?
Yeah, I wondered about that as well, because I was like, didn't I just kill these guys?
Yeah.
Why are they back already?
So I have no ward against elements, so they're spiking me out with Thunderclap, and I'm in trouble. We lose everybody. It is just me and Lena that get away. But that's the ace in the hole, because Lena has a rechargeable res skill.
Yes. It's like when I lived with just Menlo.
Yeah, if I've got Lena, I've got a chance.
That's right.
And the problem is, so I pull everybody back, and they all die in like a safe area. I managed to kill the last Mersat, and we start rezzing people. Menlo has died on the Bloodstone in the middle of all the enemies, away from everyone else. So now we start the game of pulling each individual Guardian by themselves, killing them, and then moving a little closer. We kill a couple of seals this way, and then finally we've made our way to Menlo, and we res him, and we pull back, and he dies again. But he's a little closer this time. So we do repeat the process. We kill another seal, we kill a couple more Guardians, we kill the new Guardians that spawn, and then we move a little closer. We res Menlo again, we pull him back again, he dies again. But now he's died in a safe place.
Right.
We make a full rebound, and we manage to finish the mission. But man, it was close to me having to restart that mission at the very end.
It's so funny, because I was talking to a couple of friends of mine this week, and we were talking about Menlo, actually, and about our upcoming episode, and they're like, yeah, Menlo, that guy is as useful as a paper plate. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I laughed so hard. But I think you experienced paper plate Menlo.
I think I did, yeah. I still think he's better, even though they have the identical builds. I do think he's better than Alicia, but an issue I ran into with multiple henchmen in these 2 missions was getting body blocked and not being able to run where flagged. Yes. It happened to Menlo here, and it happened to Devona at some point. And
I had Menlo was giving me trouble in Ring of Fire mission, and I think I messaged you, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, but Menlo's AI is running Alicia software. It's just like, I can't deal with him right now.
Yeah, no, he's real hit and miss, is how I would describe him. But yeah, I think it's a really well-designed fight, the way it builds upon itself and like lures you in with a false sense of security, and then you're surrounded by 6 Mersat Guardians, and you're like, oh shit, I might die, and then you're in desperation mode because you do not want to restart this kind of longish mission, right? It's good stuff. I felt something. Yeah. Playing this.
And you mentioned the ward against elements helping me out, and not only are you, I believe you are correct, but also having the Chimera skill that Kilbron casts on you before you go into this area also helped, because it recharged my energy.
Yeah, I think I dawdled and did not get to, and I also didn't know it was on me, or else I probably would have played around that being on me more, because that's a huge advantage. Yeah, so I lost that and had to complete it without chimeric aid, and it was a bad time, but luckily I did not have to restart the mission, thank God.
Yes, so once we kill all of the seals,
that sounds really bad, doesn't it? Once we kill all of the seals.
Yeah, it's not our little aquatic friends. Our cube enemy.
Once we kill all of the ether sigils.
Yes, the sigil is a better word. We get our cutscene, and we see Vizier Kilbron. And he's looking like he's in a bit of a trance or something. He's got his head down. He's just kind of floating along as he does. And all of a sudden, we get a big reveal.
He transforms.
Yes. He transforms into the big bad enemy that we saw back in Kryta.
And then again in Thunderhead Keep, the Undead Lich.
Yeah,
yes,
the Undead Lich.
It's Kilbron. He's the Undead Lich.
He is the Undead Lich.
And they blew their cover with this in the last episode in THK because it shows the Undead Lich wielding the Scepter of War.
Right.
At the end of that cutscene.
So if you were paying attention, you realized what he was carrying, you knew Lich, Kilbron, Scepter of War, same guy.
I think that's a similar thing to the cutscene that shows the back of Marcus's head at the end of Bloodstone Fen.
Yeah.
It's it's there if you would like, if you notice it. If you don't, it doesn't really have an impact on your enjoyment of the story.
Exactly.
And,
but now we do get the big reveal. It is the one and the same. And why have we been following this guy around?
Yeah, no, just because he's just
another enemy.
He comes onto the scene. He's like, I'm a very powerful sorcerer. You need my help. I lived in Or. And Aveni is like, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to lead my organization in my absence?
Right.
And then we're just like, I guess we follow this guy's orders now.
Mm-hmm.
Why he's so powerful? Why he even needs us to do anything for him is a mystery.
It is very, very bizarre. Like, he needed our help to get into the door of Kamali. Why?
Yeah, because now that he has it open, and when the door opens, it the barrier disappears and it shows souls flying out of it.
Right, but they're not. And you're thinking, oh, okay, so we're freeing our allies because he keeps saying, well, our allies are awaiting us.
Yeah, and I'm like, is it some sort of the first time I played this, I was like, is it some sort of spirit army or something like that? Right.
Yeah. But our allies are actually not our allies. They come and become his allies. And they fly out of the lava and they turn into
a big burn claw monster thing.
Yes, called a Titan.
Yeah, we don't find out what it's called in the cutscene. We find out after the cutscene when we have to fight it.
Yes.
And it's level 28. It is a regular enemy that is level 28. It's huge.
But it's a pushover because it's a warrior.
It's a pushover. Yeah, it's very easy. It's kind of anticlimactic, honestly.
It is, and I was like, "Oh, big bad," but not really. But he raises one, raises one, I should say, sends it to come and attack us, and then he raises 3 others and sends one off to Lion's Arch, one off to Thunderhead Keep, and one off to Rin.
Which is the capital city of Ascalon. We went to Rin in the Nolani Academy mission.
Yes. So...
Which I don't know how... I don't even know if you need a Titan to take over Rin. Rin is in shambles. I
know. Yeah. What are you doing here, friend?
Send it to Ascalon City.
Yeah. So he's sent them off Kryta, the Shiver Peaks, and Ascalon.
Yep. The kind of centers of civilization.
Yes, the centers of civilization. That still carries over onto the next game. And that's it. And then after that, after you kill the Titan, you see that the Lich is targetable as an enemy, and he's level 30. And I was like, "Oh, can I go kill him?" But the mission cutscene ended, and that was it.
Oh, is he standing there with you while you kill the Titan?
He's kind of a little bit of ways, just kind of watching us.
I didn't even see him. Nice.
Yeah.
Is he he's probably invulnerable or something, if you try to go over to him, or you can't reach him or something like that?
No, but he is level 30 and he is red. And I was like, I'm going to go get that guy. And it was like, no, you're not. You're just going to enjoy that you've got your dual blades. You've ended your mission and go and spawn into the next mission's outpost.
Yes. So now we spawn at Hell's Precipice.
Which is a great name.
That's a great name for a mission. Yeah.
Yes.
Hell's Precipice is a fun mission. It's a long mission. and we're going to be doing it for the next episode. It is the final mission of the Prophecies campaign. We will show down with the Lich, and we'll show down with someone else from the game as well. That'll be a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll finish the game. We'll have a chat about we'll do an overview chat, like a wrap up discussion on the game in general. We're gonna bring questions to the table, and we'll talk about overall things. Yeah. And then we're gonna play the Sol D'Alessio bonus mission as well, and talk about that before we do the final mission, because that's got some information that ties into the whole Mersat White Mantle thing.
Right.
And this should be going live on the 26th. So you should be listening to this on or after the 26th of August. The next episode is going to go up on, the 9th of August? August 9th. September 9th. Yeah, no, we just perpetually relive the month of August forever. That's that's what's happening. No, September 9th. So keep an eye out. Subscribe to the channel. Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at any social media platform, Inky Sticks. If I'm on it, I'm usually using that tag. Okay, perfect. If you guys can't find Miko at Inky Sticks, then your computer doesn't work. Yeah, or just find me on Tyria Now channel. I pay attention to that as well. Yeah, follow Tyria Now on all applicable platforms so that you can take your pick of whether you would like to watch it on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Yes. Tweet at us, whatever you're thinking about Guild Wars. We'll probably answer you. And we will see you guys again on September 9th with episode 17, the final episode for Prophecies. Mm-hmm. See you later, guys. Bye.